Welcome into the only show in town, the CHGO Preseason Blackhawks Podcast.
Yeah,
thanks for being with us.
A bunch of shouting going on in the other room. I don't know
what that's about. So I guess there's some other game. I don't know. I didn't know much about it, but the one that matters, we're going to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
We want to thank everybody who's here with us right now. If there's ever been a night we need your support, it's tonight as we run simultaneous to Bears postgame. As we have, I can't tell how many we have, but they have something 68 people. Great. They have something like 1,000 watching. So happy to have you here. Hawks lose 3-2 in the shootout to the Minnesota Wild. There is only one more damn preseason game to go. And boy, I think we are ready for the regular season.
Yes.
All right. Good show.
Good night.
We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Have a great day.
But you can tell the players are ready for the regular season because this one was the feistiest.
Yeah, they're getting cranky.
They're ready to be like, I'm tired of this crap. Like, there's some extra physicality, a lot more post-whistle stuff. Yeah, it was a fun game. It was a good game.
It was a good game.
It was the most competitive, it was the closest to a regular season game we've had out of the 5. And I think Saturday's game in St. Louis, you're going to see, not the opening night roster.
I don't think so. Anyone who's left that's, I think we'll see Colton Dock. I think we'll see
Joey Anderson will play.
Yeah.
And
I wouldn't expect Bedard to
Anders
play.
Bjork still around.
He's still got a stall in the locker room.
He was there the other day, so even though I thought he was officially sent down, so maybe they'll
Scott Foster in goal.
Yeah, sure.
They'll put the mannequin out there.
Give Artem Anisimov a PTO so he can play one more game in a Hawks uniform.
Yeah,
him and Joey Anderson can fight in pregame for who gets to wear 15.
That's right. That's a good fight. There's a lot to get to on this one. Mario is going to join us from the UC as he always does. But as we do every show now, you get to vote on our 4th star of the game, and tonight is no different. For the record, the 3 stars of the game were Pat Maroon, Marc-Andre Fleury, and Mats Zuccarello, all Minnesota Wild players. So our nominees, and we had a little bit of a discussion here about who they should be. Nick Foligno, who scored a goal, Taylor Hall, who scored a goal, and our third option is Kevin Korchinski, who I think had his best game of the preseason.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. He had the assist on the Foligno goal, which was 1 second shy of being a power play goal.
Yeah.
Both special teams looked really good tonight. We'll definitely touch on that. But Korchinski was very noticeable. He was skating all over the place tonight, and he was very confident with his passes. There were 2 sequences in the second period that were very impressive. One was on a power play. He entered the zone and then passed the puck to himself off the boards to avoid a defender's stick. The stick was out in front of him, so he just passed it off the boards and skated right by the stick and then picked up the puck and had a scoring chance. And then a few moments later, made a great quick one. I think it was a backhanded pass out of the zone and caught Donato and got Donato in past the defense. Ryan Donato, a really good game tonight too.
Yeah, he deserves mentioning too.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Lots of guys. It was a really good game.
Reese Johnson just balling out.
Reese Johnson looked like a guy that was like, this might be the last time I ever play in the United Center. I'm going to get my money's worth.
Yeah.
He was hitting people left and right. He dropped the gloves with bottom shelf Scotch counter doer. And he had a really good game. He was out there on the penalty. He was taking defensive zone penalty kill faceoffs late in the third period. I mean, that tells you Luke Richardson trusts him. So he made a last-minute case to stick around with the NHL club. I'm sure he's going to make the trip to St. Louis. I still think it's Mackenzie Entwistle and Boris Tkachuk going to get those last 2 spots.
Yeah.
But, he's still here. He's probably going to get one more game. If Luke is looking for that guy that can just go out there and be that bowling ball, maybe. We'll see. Maybe he wants him for that Bruins game.
Sure.
The Bruins traditionally play a heavy, big forechecking game. Maybe he wants a guy like that out there for that game. We'll see. The one guy that didn't have the greatest game was Connor Bedard. This is what's going to happen a lot as a rookie. Yes, he's a talented, great player, but he's still an 18-year-old learning how to play in the NHL. And tonight, he's just trying too hard to be highlight reel Connor Bedard.
I feel like he's fighting it a little bit. I feel like the fact that he's not scored a goal. I mean, this has to be the longest in his career he's gone without putting a puck in the back of the net with a goalie in it. And I think he just wants to get that monkey off his back because everyone's talking about it. And everyone said, "Oh, you weren't very happy after the empty netter." Look, they showed him on the bench a few times today. He was laughing. He's having a good time. So I don't think it's getting to him. But you saw in the shootout there, he made about 9 too many moves.
Trying too hard. And guess what? Come Tuesday, no one's going to remember you didn't get a preseason goal. It was just an empty netter. No one's going to remember that.
It doesn't matter.
I don't remember one Patrick King preseason goal ever. I don't remember one Jonathan Davis preseason goal ever.
No.
They don't count. It doesn't mean anything. It starts to mean something Tuesday in Pittsburgh. If he goes 5-6 games into the regular season, if it comes to the next time he's on United Center Ice, 5th game of the season, and doesn't have that goal yet, then you can start with is he ever going to score?
Yeah.
You could probably, the pressure should get to him at that point.
Yeah, and I think...
But in the preseason, it doesn't matter.
I want to also, pull back a little bit. I don't think he had a bad game.
No, he just had the worst out of
the least good.
The least effect, the least effect. He wasn't terrible out there.
He drew 3 penalties.
Which is amazing.
The 2 shots on goal he had, one, Marc-Andre Fleury, reacted after the puck hit him. He was ready, square, hit him, and then Fleury reacted after the puck hit him. It was on him so quick. His shot is so quick. It's going to happen. And I think every time he gets a shot that doesn't go in, he's getting a little more and more frustrated. But what we saw today, we should start talking about special teams because they were really good tonight.
Yes.
They did not technically get a power play goal, but the Nick Foligno goal was with 1 second expired. So it's basically a power play goal. But, man, they are moving the puck with speed and quickness, and it's different from the way Patrick Kane ran a power play. Patrick Kane was keep the puck, keep the puck, keep the puck, keep the puck, keep the puck.
Draw the guy in the him, pass
and you
the
wait
puck.
for, and it was kind of like the Hawks power play with Kane was kind of one and done. They would go for that one great chance, and if they scored, they scored, and if they didn't, they didn't. This one, there's pucks going back and forth across the ice, point to point, dot to dot, and with speed and with ferocity, and they've got the talent on the ice now to be able to receive these passes and get shots off and those sort of things. I really like the way the power play looked. And look, the penalty kill, you had almost a full 2-minute 5-on-3 in the third period. They killed it. Chris Foster said no shots allowed, but I think there was 2.
I can't confirm because the NHL website is hot garbage.
Yeah, it's actually...
So they probably had the better stats than we did, so... If they're saying it on the broadcast, fine. But even if it's 1 or 2, that's still very impressive. Especially in that
NHL
situation.
roster.
Yeah, with holding a 1-goal lead late in a third period.
And I think so. The power play looks good. Penalty kill looks good. And Arvid Soderblom, who lets in the first shot of the game, not his fault. Wyatt Kaiser standing there. Everybody's tied up. It kind of just trickles in after a deflection. Really started playing solid as the game went on. Gave up the 5-hole goal to Zuccarello in a shootout. Fine. The game tying goal was a result of Wyatt Kaiser kind of overskating a puck, and it gets out to Pat Maroon, and he scores. We get a puck to Pat Maroon, he's probably going to score with that much time and space. Don't fat shame my guy.
I can. I guess fat.
He's one of us. One of us. One of us. But look, man, I can't. They didn't win, but when I watch this game, it gives me optimism for the season. And we've been saying, and Nick Foligno's been saying, this team's going to surprise some people. And I keep seeing these prognosticators saying 60 points, 64 points. I saw 71. I think they're better than that. I really do.
I still think the 70 point is a good target. I would be satisfied with a 70-point season because it's progression. I still think the goaltending is going to be a major question mark through the rest of the year. Soderblom looked good for the most part tonight.
Steven just quit.
He's well, that's all right. Bring back a cookie. So, Soderblom looked good at times, but he also looked kind of shaky at times, a little crazy in the crease.
The first period,
yeah,
I'm not putting that on him. It was nuts in front of the Hawks
there
net.
was.
I want to hear. I wonder if Luke talked about it. We'll find out from Mario. There was a lot of chaos in front. Like the Hawks could not get the puck out of their own zone many times in the first period. And I think a lot of what we saw was, and this is something to keep an eye on in the regular season, is these younger defensemen are a little bit like, how do I word this? Like hesitant to get physical. Like they maybe don't have the confidence or the swagger to like get in a guy's face and get in his grill and knock him off the puck. Something changed between the first and second because you saw Wyatt Kaiser. Wyatt Kaiser even took a net front penalty from Battle and took a guy down in front of the net. You saw Korchinski start to do it. Murphy's always doing it. Seth Jones is always doing it. Tenorti's always doing it. But the younger guys maybe are a little more passive in that way.
And that's why I think that 70-point target is a good target. You're going to have 3 rookie defensemen out there on most nights with goaltending that you're hoping is NHL average.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have a lot of games like we saw tonight where they're in it and then they give up a late tying goal and then you lose in overtime or the stupid shootout. So I think 70 points, they get finished with 70 points.
I'm happy with that.
That's an 11-point improvement. If they hit 70 points and Connor Bedard has what the year we're kind of all expecting, wins the Calder, has 30 goals, 70 points. Lucas Reichel has
at least 40.
Establishes that he can be an effective top 6, hopefully center. And then you have a couple of those defensemen, Wyatt Kaiser, Kevin Korchinski, if he's here the year, Alex Vlasic. Those guys, at the end of the year, you go, those guys are NHL top, those are NHL top 6 defensemen, no doubts. And you have, some of these other guys, the guys that matter, develop and make the progressions. 70 points is an amazing season. To improve 11 points.
Sure.
Even if you finish with 60 points, but all those guys that matter for the future.
Yeah.
Philip Kurashev takes that step.
That's it.
That you want him.
I'm more concerned about
I don't care about the points. You can finish with 40 points, but if the guys that are going to be here when this team is good take that next step, they can finish 0-82 and I wouldn't care.
Well, that might be concerning.
Hey, we're going to get the number 1 pick again.
There you go.
Suck it, crybabies.
So updating the poll here, if you want to vote on our 4-star of the night, very close again. Nick Foligno, 39%. Taylor Hall, 36%. Kevin Korchinski, 25%.
Got a comment on the United Center ice being so bad.
Yeah,
players have mentioned it. I mean, we are having a heat wave in October, and literally every night the Blackhawks don't play, there's a concert or something going on at the United States. Like Dave Chappelle had a show there last night. They took it down, put the ice back up, and then they're putting it back up because he's going to be there the next 2 nights again.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Fish is coming for 3 nights, and they literally have something there every night in October.
Yeah.
If it's at the Hawks, the Bulls are going to start playing games soon, so that's why. Hopefully November, you can let the ice breathe a little more, and you won't have any 80-degree days. Hopefully not in November.
That would be nice.
So there's a lot of reasons for that. But yeah, the ice hasn't been great. But again, it's preseason for the ice crew too. Hopefully it gets better. You're just gonna have to adjust to it. It seemed better tonight
Yeah, it was better tonight than the
There
last
was
game.
not as many guys like that last game.
Wasn't as hot
Detroit. The game against Detroit, the ice was terrible. Guys
Horrible.
were falling all over the place. The ice might have sent our poor Mackenzie Ann-Whistle to Rockford because it grabbed his ankles on that 2-0 breakaway.
Oh, boy.
So the ice was not great tonight, but it was better. So
Yeah.
hopefully by the home opener here in a little over a week, it will be.
I think it's more the United Center schedule than the weather, because the ice was fine during the Stanley Cup playoffs back in the day.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mario is set to join us. We're going to bring him in a second, but hey, Bears win. Hawks get a point. Well, not a real point, but a point nonetheless. Celebrate. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your football season. No matter where you are on your cannabis journey, you can use their easy online ordering system and in-store pickup. And they've got a great transparent loyalty program called Sunnyside Rewards. It is Illinois' favorite dispensary because it's great. I've been to the Schaumburg one, the Wrigleyville one. So many great locations. Check them out at sunnyside.shop. And tonight's going to be counting sheep night, because when I get home from these games and these post-game shows, I am wired and cannot sleep. So I'll pop half one of those good news counting sheep gummies that I got at Sunnyside, and I will sleep through the night, and it will be a beautiful, beautiful thing. And I will be functional for tomorrow's show at 2:30. Maybe.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Hopefully. Other great brands: Mindy's, Cresco, High Supply, FloraCal, Wonder, all wonderful brands. Remedy as well. And now through October 15th, head to sunnyside.shop. Use the code CHGO25 at checkout, and you'll save 25% off your total order. It is one use per customer and not stackable with other promotions, but that's not only for new customers. Anyone can use that code. Pick up everything you need to elevate your football season. Must be 21 plus or an Illinois MedCard holder. Again, that is code CHGO25 at sunnyside.shop.
And after you use your promo code at Sunnyside, you go home, you take your edibles, your flour, however you get your
So many ways.
whatever your form of intake is, you're inevitably going to get the munchies. That's when our pal, Charlie the Bacon Guy, based out of Woodward, Illinois, is going to be your best friend, because he makes craft bacon and bacon jams in over 30 different flavors. The product is always all natural, no fancy preservatives. Order lots of bacon from our guy Charlie. It's vacuum sealed. It freezes great. The bacon lasts in the package up to 45 days in the refrigerator or 6 months in the freezer. But who the hell keeps bacon around for 6 months without eating it?
Yeah.
The communists. That's who. The bacon jam lasts about 60 days in the fridge, or in my house, 60 seconds.
There you go. Fair
That
enough.
stuff is amazing. Amazing. You want to know what bacon jam is? It's like taking like really good bacon bits, not the shitty dried kind that you buy at the Jewels. It's taking like chunks of bacon, putting it in like some sort of like awesome spreadable form.
It's like a bacon hummus.
Yes.
Consistency wise, maybe
Sure.
a little bit thicker than.
All I know
hummus.
is it's amazing. You can use it on crackers. You can eat it with a spoon. What I've done in the past, burgers. You put it on a
Yes.
cheeseburger, and it's amazing.
Well, I put it on a hot dog here, too.
That
That was
works
really
too.
good.
That'll work.
You just put it in your mouth. It doesn't matter what
Yeah,
else is it.
it's bacon. I mean,
yes,
come on.
some of the favorite flavors like maple pepper, French toast, chorizo, the jardinere, the ranch
Chorizo.
bacon, chorizo. It's the female version.
Mother Teresa.
It's the female version.
That's my patron saint.
Chorizo comes from the female pig.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
My favorite, I love the rosemary bacon. That's one of my faves. Great for BLT. The ranch bacon as well. Bacon jam, as we mentioned, it goes perfect on anything. And scrambled eggs, on toast, crackers, burgers, grilled cheese, or our guy Charlie's favorite, the spoon. Charlie will deliver to you. He'll meet you halfway or even ship it. He'll get you the bacon on time. Make sure you're following Charlie on Instagram at Charlie the Bacon Guy. He's on Twitter at CZ the Bacon Guy, or you can email charliethebaconguy@gmail.com and get all your bacon needs. A website is coming soon, and we want to thank our pal Charlie for giving us our Who's Your Hawk trophy
Yep.
prop that will kind of sort of make its debut
Saturday.
we'll show it off tonight. I got it here. So
all right, let's do it.
We can't properly debut it because the guy who won is now standing by from the United Center.
Yeah, speaking of the guy who won, let's bring him in. Mario Tirabassi is live at the United Center. There he is. He's raising the roof. Is that the kid? They still do that? I don't know. I'm old. I'm out of touch. What's up?
What's up?
What
I'm a winner.
Stuff and things?
Yeah, mostly stuff and things.
Ooh. What's
yeah,
some of the things?
The things we learned we talked with Nick Foligno after the game, and he had a lot of. He's going to be wonderful to talk to all season. I cannot wait to have hopefully a full 82 games with Nick Foligno. He talked about the Wild and the energy that they brought tonight, the game that they brought tonight, how it felt way bigger than a preseason game. And if you watch the game, it felt like a regular season game. It was chippy, it was feisty. Guys were getting in to scrums and mushing each other, and we had one fight with Reese Johnson, and probably could have had one or two more with the way Jared Tenorti seemed like he was ready to go with anybody. Matt Boldy seemed like he wanted a fight tonight, but it was as Charlie is talking about chorizo spice bacon. It was a spicy game tonight for sure between the Wild and the Blackhawks. And Foligno talked about that. He talked about him and his brother, first time they've ever played in a game against each other in which they both scored. So that was fun. He said he was going to, after talking with us in the locker room, said he was going to go meet up with his brother Marcus in the hallway and give him a few punches before he had his chat. And so it was good talking with him. And he also talked about how at this point we don't even have to play his video if you guys haven't played it yet, because I'll just paraphrase everything.
I'm exporting it as we speak, Mario.
Perfect. All right. Well, yeah. So we talked with Nick Foligno. Talked with Arvid Soderblom after the game as well. From a goalie perspective, I think he had a pretty solid game tonight. The first goal against him was a deflected puck that he probably never saw. Like he had Marco Rossi and one of the Blackhawks defensemen just
Kaiser.
in his face. In his face off the deflected puck. He never had a chance to see it. The Pat Maroon goal, it's a rough turnover by Wyatt Kaiser blowing a tire behind the net. But I mean that's a hard play to make, and a young guy trying to make it, you're going to have those kinds of hiccups. And Maroon, he's a vet, and he made a good shot, so that tied it up. And then you get beat in the shootout. You shrug it off. I think Soderblom had a pretty good game, and he said that he's been feeling good this preseason. I think he's played pretty well this preseason, so it was another good effort from him. Would have loved to have seen him get the win, but Blackhawks fall 3-2 in the shootout.
What did Luke say about Soderblom's game?
Yeah, I mean, he said kind of the same things. Just he's had a pretty good preseason. He's been pretty solid. He's given the Blackhawks good efforts in his appearances in this preseason, and I think he's going to get ample opportunity into the regular season to kind of continue that. He's talked about him throughout training camp about kind of the raw hand he was dealt last season, and some of the efforts that were put out in front of Arvid last year and kind of left him hanging in some situations. So I think Richardson has been happy with the performances he's had, especially tonight. And I think it's good news for Arvid as he moves into a full-time NHL role.
One thing we were talking about was kind of how the first period defensively was a little bit chaotic. You saw the Hawks get hemmed in their own zone on several shifts, kind of a lot of chaos right in front of Arvid Soderblom. A lot of that for that period. Did Luke talk about that at all? I know it seems like 3 days ago, but
yeah, no, I mean he talked about how the Wild got off to a fast start, and the Blackhawks weren't ready for that kind of jump. But he did say that that the team started to settle down as the first period went on, and then you saw the response with the Nick Foligno goal, and things kind of settled down after that point. But it just kind of seemed like the start of the game was a really well for the Wild. They got out to the early lead, got an early power play, But the Blackhawks were able to kind of recover from that, and then come out with a big second period. I mean, they took the lead 2-1 on the Taylor Hall goal. They had 17-6 shot advantage in the second period. So the response to that slow start was really good. So it's something that you'd want to have right from the jump, but that's why you can kind of get these teachable moments out in the preseason and build from there.
I noticed you tweeted out a little clip about Reese Johnson. Luke talking about Reese Johnson, and we've already talked about how noticeable he was tonight. What did Luke have to say about his effort, and has his fate been sealed yet, or does he still have a shot to be on the plane to Pittsburgh?
I think he's still got a shot. As far as making roster cuts and everything, and the guys that are going to play on Saturday in St. Louis, it really feels like the Blackhawks are going to take who they have on their training camp roster right now into the weekend, and then make some final roster cut decisions after that game on Saturday. So Reese Johnson, I think Richardson, praised his efforts tonight, his energy level, and he said that he's that's the kind of person he is, not just NHL player, but the kind of person he is, where he's a hard worker, high energy guy, is going to be able to do things physically on the ice that a lot of other guys can't. So I think with the fight, couple of shifts where he was just a wrecking ball out there. That's what he brings to the table. That's what he does best for the Blackhawks, and I think it keeps him in the mix. I think if we were going on paper, straight talent for talent, I don't think he'd be here. But the performance that he put in tonight, I think definitely gives him a good opportunity to be on the team once the final cuts are made. But there's still one more game to go. Richardson talked about wanting to give if he's ready to play, give Colton Dach one more look on Saturday, which I think Dach will probably be able to play in that game. So Johnson had a really good game tonight. Those are the kind of efforts that guys like him and Tkachuk and Mackenzie Entwistle and so on and so forth, of the bottom six guys, that those are the kind of efforts that they have to put in through this preseason to make the opening night lineup.
We don't usually do this, but we've got to interrupt the segment. We have a $100 super chat.
It's a record for CHGO Blackhawks.
Yes, from Joey Smith. He says, I live in Texas, surrounded by Cowboys, Stars, and Rangers fans. Gross.
Absolutely.
CHGO podcasts are the highlight of my day because these Texas fans don't know how to talk sports without being obnoxious. I don't think y'all realize how amazing the work y'all do is. Keep it up. Thank you, Joey. We appreciate that. We get a lot of kind words from a lot of folks. We thank you for that. We see it and we appreciate it. But Joey, thanks so much for the super chat, man. Yep. That's awesome. Really, really appreciate it.
You know what I always say? Texas is great if it wasn't full of Texans. Except for our guy Joey.
Except for Joey, of course.
And the Texas Heat, who skated during the first intermission today.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. They were the
goalie probably got a bunch of wedgies in the locker room after blowing it for his team there.
We had to go all the way to Texas to finish that far behind. Anyway,
yeah,
I am not going to make fun of a 10-year-old on this show.
Not tonight, at least.
We haven't mentioned.
I did it in the press box.
We haven't mentioned Connor Bedard yet with you, Mario, and I know. Not the most graceful shootout attempt. Got a couple shots on goal, but just it wasn't quite as dominating as we've seen him in the other preseason games. Now, I think part of that is you probably saw the most complete NHL lineup from your opponent, so the opportunities weren't there as much. Luke, have anything to say about any sort of maybe mounting frustration from Connor, or just kind of status quo?
I mean, he praised the scoring chances he was able to create tonight. That's something that when you have a game where you don't show up in the score sheet, you still want to be able to be creating things offensively, especially for someone as talented as Bedard is. I think Richardson praised that aspect of it, and then also said there's still some growing and some learning to be done for him, for Bedard, through the preseason. We don't know if he's going to play Saturday yet. I I'd be a little surprised if he does, but we'll see what Richardson feels fit. But I mean, as far as Bedard's game goes, it really did feel like he was still trying a lot of things that maybe he got away with in junior, that he's still trying to figure out. What the timing and the spacing and the rhythm of the game calls for, and he's still. I mean, we also got to remember he's still learning all his teammates' tendencies too, and so it's not only is he new to everybody, but there's a lot of other new guys that he's playing with, Ryan Donato, Taylor Hall, that are new to this team. So the chemistry and the timing of everything, and learning where guys tend to go to, where they like to go to, how they like to play, all of that is a learning process. So yeah, I mean, not a terrific night for him, but it's better to have a night like that in a preseason game than it is, when the games matter and when points are on the line. That's another thing that, Nick Foligno talked about tonight is after the game, that's a game where in the regular season it hurts more because they had the opportunity to come away with 2 points. So it's good to learn from those games now in the preseason when point standings doesn't really matter. But that's something that you can build on and learn from the experience, so that when you get into a game like this where you're up 2-1, deep into the third period, you can hold that lead and come away with 2 points rather than, giving up a game tire late and then losing the shootout and you lose out on a point, especially against a division rival. Those points are going to matter a lot in the regular season, down the road, and maybe not this year, but who knows? But those young guys, especially getting those lessons now, will hopefully pay dividends down the road.
Yeah, and I think your point of it, it's good it's happening in a preseason game is true. He's going to have regular season games like this too, though, and I don't think there's any need to panic or anything. Look, we saw games from great players throughout the dynasty that they probably would want that game back a little bit, right? And I think when he's going to have this microscope on him, and we're guilty of it because he's the biggest story this year, and it'll probably be the biggest story for the next decade, quite frankly, right? Just like Connor McDavid is the biggest story in Edmonton and so on and so on. We're going to cover him differently than we cover the other players on the team. But, like, I want to caution people to not, and I think it's been good today. I haven't seen anyone really freak out about the way the game went for him today. The 2 shots on goal he had definitely could have gone in. He had a bunch of attempts that got blocked, hitting shin pads on the way in, stuff like that. So I'm not seeing anything that concerns me. I just think, and the shootout attempt was a huge illustration of it, he is just chomping at the bit to dent that twine.
I think once he gets that first one, it won't grip the stick as hard, but he was still very effective now. He drew 3 penalties.
Yeah, and the way the power play moves with him,
yes,
it's ridiculous.
If he draws 3 penalties a night, that's a good thing, because this power play is going. The power play did everything but score tonight. It had 13 shots on goal and 4 power plays. It was there. The puck was moving. We talked about it earlier, Mario. They're moving the puck more. The best way to cause breakdowns in a penalty kill is to get them moving side to side, and that's what they're doing. Bedard's being all over the zone, and the defensemen are active. Seth Jones was very good on the power play. He's getting more space.
He had a really good game.
He's getting more space up at the point because of Connor Bedard drawing the attention of the defense. So what did Luke have to say, Mario, about the special teams play? Because both the penalty kill and the power play were very effective tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the movement on the power play was a huge highlight. Richardson talked about wanting to have that kind of look and being able to attack from different angles. The power play puck movement is such a big factor, and I think that group, the top power play group headlined by Bedard is going to be, I think, sneaky effective this year. Obviously around the league, the expectations for the Blackhawks kind of across the board besides Bedard are very low, but I think it's possible that power play unit is going to be really effective this year with the way that they interchange positions, they move the puck around, they cause the defense to exert a ton of energy to cover everything. They, make the goalie, go from post to post, and it's going to open up lanes. I know there were a number of opportunities that were just missed, either just wide or, blocked or I think Bedard had a chance. Forget who he passed it to, but it was just fanned on. That could have made a big difference in the game. But the power play was good. It was creating chances. Penalty kill was terrific tonight. I mean, they killed a long 5-on-3 late in the game, which was really really big to see. And Luke talked about it before the game. About the penalty kill strategy and wanting to be aggressive and knowing when to be aggressive and how to use that more effectively this season than last season, and kind of learning from that. And I think we saw it tonight where guys like Reese Johnson and Boris Tkachuk were very aggressive in hunting down puck carriers and being hard on them, and not sitting back and letting a power play set up and just kind of saying, okay, we're just gonna park the bus and try and just get in the way of shots. Like, no, go out and challenge them, force them to beat you with puck movement and maybe force a turnover. So I think the penalty kill was really effective tonight, obviously killing off everyone that they faced. And it's encouraging to see that as we move closer to the regular season.
I just saw this quote from Luke Richardson. Ben Pope tweeted it out. He said, quote, "We're always going to want more out of our players. We'd like them to shoot the puck more, but Connor's the one who sees it on the ice, and he sees it differently than us. So we're going to have to trust a guy with that kind of talent and vision when he thinks it's right to shoot or when he thinks it's right to hold on to the puck or make a play." I think that's really interesting. The fact that a guy who's not played an NHL game yet that means anything already has the faith of the coaching staff to say, hey, you've got carte blanche out there. We trust what you see. We trust what you feel. If you think that the shot's not there and you think it's the best move of the past, then we're going to believe you on it. And it kind of goes back to what he said the other day when he was asked, do you think of yourself as a playmaker or a scorer? And he said, I think of myself as a best playmaker, right? Like whatever's available, right, I'm going to take. And it's funny, like it kind of like Luke is such an old school player, but such a new school coach. You almost every other NHL coach would say, rein it in, kid. You're just a rookie. You haven't proven a thing yet. Luke knows what he has here. Luke knows what he has in Connor Bedard, and he's going to let him be. How many times have we yelled at Luke Getzey for not letting Justin Fields be Justin Fields, right? It's a different sport, but it's kind of the same thing. Let your talented players use their talents. And the Hawks are letting Connor Bedard do it, and I love it. I'm all for it.
It's a great advantage when your team doesn't hire a moron to be your head coach.
Is that the difference?
Yes.
It might be.
I believe that's when they put Luke on the post game shows, it says not Luke Richardson, not a moron.
There you go. That's perfect. Anything else you want to add, Mario, before we let you go?
I mean, I think, to that point, we've talked about it a little bit since at least throughout training camp, how, the talent level of this team, you have a fair argument saying that Bedard is probably the most talented player on this team, even before stepping on the ice for a regular season game. So, yeah, I mean, allowing him to have some freedom, to have let him control his own red light, green light. That's the best way to use him. So, it's I don't think there's so much about having to rein him in. I think it's helping him stay not frustrated when things don't go his way, and allowing, kind of motivating him and keeping him upbeat to trust in himself is what the coaching staff, I think, is primarily looking to do with him. And as the kids say, allowing Connor to cook and see what happens.
All right. Are we going to present Mario with his virtual award?
Who's your Hawk, Mario? Coming on strong with his second straight win.
Yeah.
Picking Kevin Korchinski. So you had the only point tonight out of our three players.
Sure did.
No Connor Bedard picked tonight. Maybe that's why he had his least effective of 3 games.
Saw our tweet.
Exactly. Yes, that was not a misprint. I did pick Boris Kachuk. I went off the board a little bit. He had 2 assists against the Wild last time. So, I was hoping they had that 2-1 lead and he gets that empty net goal to steal it from Mario at the end, but that didn't happen. But our guy, Charlie the Bacon Guy, sent us an old hockey helmet, which I have here, and we're loading up with stickers. We're going to get a bunch more on it. If anybody out there in the chat has a sticker they'd like to see on our helmet, feel free to send it to us. Maybe visit us up by the press box. We'll get it on here for you. So the way it's going to go is after we announce the winner then has to wear this helmet for the rest of the show.
Good luck.
I don't want to. I'm going to pick Boris Kachuk every week from here on out because this thing is small and it's going to hurt my head if I try and put it on my giant melon. So I'm not. So Mario,
it looks like there's some room to grow in there. Let me see.
I don't know, but
this part can definitely stretch out.
No,
we got to take
a look. I took a look at that. I took a look at that before you guys got to the office. I think that is maxed out in size.
We may have to take the foam out of there. We can take the foam out of there. It'll be a lot better.
We got to disinfect it
so
anyway.
Mario, tomorrow's off day show. You got to put the helmet on for a few minutes to celebrate your victory.
That's fine. I will. I will bask in the glory.
We each get to smack you really hard on the top of the head.
Nah. I think
all right, so you'll get the first helmet wearing tomorrow. So think about.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Hey, that's 2 in a row. I think that's called a winning streak, right?
I think so.
Yep. Good thing these stand just like the Blackhawks record. It goes back to 0 on Tuesday.
That's fine.
The preseason championship's on the line Saturday.
Yeah.
For Who's Your Hawk?
Now, what happens? Now we're another Board of Governors meeting on the air. What happens if at the end of the preseason and if it happens in the regular season, we all have the same amount of wins? Then what do we do?
We have a bacon eating contest.
Okay.
We have a gluten eating contest.
That's a dick move.
You know what? Sometimes you gotta make some sacrifices. If this
how bad do you want to be champion, Mario?
If it's for the president's trophy of Who's Your Hawk, I might bring an extra pair of pants to the office that day.
I felt so bad today, Mario. We're sitting down there in a press box, and he's eating the chicken dumpling soup. He goes, I don't think these dumplings are potato-based. I'm like, damn, that sucks for you. I'm like, anyway, that sounds good. Yeah. So we all go gather around a table, and I get a big thing of the soup. I get a roll. I crumble up some crackers, and I'm like, gluten. Sorry, buddy.
And then there I am with my veggie sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in a diet that's 55, and you're not, so it's a nice trade-off.
Sure. Your words.
All right, man. Have a safe drive home. We will see you tomorrow.
Avoid the construction crew on the way out.
Yep.
Yeah, they're getting set up for Dave Chappelle out here. So.
All right. Well, we'll see you on the air at 2:30. We'll see you practice.
Get out of there before they make you lock your phone away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, buddy.
All right, be safe.
Have a good one. Take care. Well, all right. If you want to drive safely, what should you drive?
You should drive a Chevrolet.
Ooh.
And not just any Chevrolet. A Chevrolet from our pals at Ray Chevy. Are you in the market for a new or used vehicle? If you are, we've got amazing news for you. Ray Chevy in Fox Lake has joined the CHGO team. And we were talking to our pals over there at Ray, and they have this pledge. Have you heard of this thing? It's called the Ray Price Promise. It's a guarantee that the price you see online is the price you pay when you walk into the dealership. We found in many cases, other dealers are going to raise the price on you when you come into the dealership, saying things like, are you a recent college graduate? Are you active in the military? Are you a moron head coach? And in most cases, those answers to those questions are going to be no. And that's when they try sneaky stuff. They're going to raise the price on you, saying the price online included limited rebates that you don't qualify for. Well, at Ray, that's not the case. The price you see online is the price you pay with no add-ons to the price ever. In fact, Ray will do everything possible to find additional savings for which may even lower the price more than what you saw online. As one of the top-selling dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories. And right now, you can save big at Ray Chevy during their Truck or Treat savings event. Get it? Because it's Halloween. Yeah,
I got it.
Because 0% is back and now available on new Silverado trucks, the perfect tailgate vehicle. Or the perfect trunk or treat vehicle to pass out candy to the kids.
Oh, yeah.
So come on in to Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake and find the vehicle you've been searching for. And best of all, pay 0 hidden fees with the Ray Price Promise. Visit Ray Chevrolet in person in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. Serving the community since 1963. Find new roads.
And once you're safely parked and home, or you found yourself a designated driver, crack open an ice-cold Goose Island beer. CHGO is supported by Goose Island Beer Company. They're Chicago's beer since 1988. I was 11 years old, and I remember my first Goose when I was 11. That's not true. I didn't do that. But 1988, that was a long-ass time ago. That's pre-Mario, I believe.
It is pre-Mario.
Pre-Mario. Oktoberfest, the Beer Hug family, the 312 wheat. And I just tried for the first time recently that Full Pocket Pills, which is what Goose tells us all their brewers are drinking. That is delightful. The Full Pocket Pills is awesome. Pick up a 12-pack of that in your local cooler. And make sure you grab an ultra-fresh brewery-exclusive beer at Goose Island's original brew house on Clybourne in Lincoln Park, or from their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. We like beer. Beer's good. Big fan of the beer. People are calling for the quack. Are we quackless?
Is that a studio?
I'm sorry. I was working on the chat for Star.
Jesus.
I'll get it.
Absolutely ridiculous. There we go. There it is.
Leaves the studio in the middle of the show. Doesn't give us
I was
the quack.
thirsty.
He's smoking
smoking cigars in here. My allergies are going crazy. You're a jerk.
Still some time to get your votes in for the 4th star of the game. Nominees Foligno, Taylor Hall, Kevin Korchinski. We've got 35% for Foligno, 39% for Taylor Hall, 26% for Kevin Korchinski. I've seen some conversation in the Slack, or not in the Slack, in the in the chat about two guys polarized for both. Ryan Donato,
almost
and
back to back.
Arvid Soderblom.
Yeah,
Donato, who I called earlier in the game today, Ryan Blackwell, because I wasn't so impressed with what he had done so far, finished the game with an assist, 6 shots on goal, and 3 more shot attempts. He had a takeaway as well. 2013 of ice time, won 4 faceoffs, lost 0. He was very effective. I worry about his ability to finish the chances that are going to be created for him playing with Taylor Hall and Connor Bedard. Where sometimes I think like maybe Tyler Johnson would be a better answer up there, or maybe it's Taylor Radish. I don't know.
But sure
he's doing
change
everything else right.
Yeah, he was fine, and it's going to take him some time because this is probably the first time in Ryan Donato's career that he has played on the same line with 2 number 1 overall picks.
Yeah, I would bet so.
It's probably the most talent he's ever had as line mates.
Yeah,
because he's pretty much been a bottom 6 guy, middle 6 guy most of his career. So it's going to take him a little time to be like, I need to be ready to shoot at all times. And things that have caught him off guard these first couple games, hopefully by, game 3 or 4 of the regular season, he's ready to go and he's reacting quicker. Mm-hmm. And it's a great opportunity for him. And if it's not working out, there's plenty of options to throw up to. You mentioned Tyler Johnson, Taylor Radish. We tried to predict the opening night lineup when training camp started, and all 3 of us had Taylor Radish on that line. I think we all liked the bigger guy out there, the guy that can, create space, get to the front of the net, all that kind of stuff. We may see that. Philip Kurashev could be a guy that could get there too, but he had some really good chemistry with Andreas Athanasiou and Lucas Reichel, but, neither of those guys played tonight. Athanasiou's been dealing with an illness. Philip Kurashev's had that wrist injury. Somebody was asking about Kurashev earlier. He's been skating the last 2 days ahead of practice, but he's not cleared for practice yet. But he's skating to keep in shape. It doesn't sound serious, but I would think he's probably not playing in those first 2 games.
I would think not.
Yeah.
Just the way that Luke's been talking about it.
And there's no reason to rush him.
No.
back. So maybe that's why Reese Johnson had a little pep in his step. Maybe he knows, hey, I'm probably going on that road trip just because it's a numbers game. There's guys missing. So we'll see. And Colin Blackwell, I believe, skated today too, ahead of time. So it's only a moment, only a little while to go. Do we get the bit?
Young Dangle got again on cue. I know someone who you wouldn't have to worry about finishing chances playing with Bedard and Hall, and he's an available free agent.
Yes.
There's his dollar.
Phil
Once
Kessel.
again, suggesting Patrick Kane
Phil Kessel.
join the Blackhawks.
No, Phil Kessel.
Hey,
We had another super chat earlier, didn't we? We didn't get to from Ryan R. What's up with Fleury chopping legs in the shootout? Jay, he was a little. Just don't get that close.
he didn't do anything wrong.
No.
Bedard was trying to make
Connor
a second
Bedard's
move, and he was
coming
trying
at
to
me
swap
that
it-
fast. I'm
swap
trying
the
to take
puck.
out his legs too.
Yeah. That's my move in NHL.
Yeah.
When I have to
Tackle
control the
the guy.
shootout goalie, I just poke check. That's all I got. So if you ever play me, Irish Red 77 on Xbox, if you ever play me, that's my move, so just know. That's how you beat me. Just avoid the poke
I don't
check.
know how to do all them fancy moves, so I just do the Marion Hossa, get inside the blue line and crank
Just
it.
blast it from the slot, right?
That's all I do.
Yep. Well, that's my move. All right, how about Soderblom? A lot of people saying, don't really like the way his play style is. I saw somebody ask on Twitter, does he go down too quickly? I think tonight's game, especially in the first period, it's kind of hard to, there was a lot of bouncing pucks and net traffic, and all I know is he made a lot of huge saves in this game. And even late in the game, I think, was it Zuccarello who hit, or no, it was Kaprizov who hit the post, right?
Yeah.
In the shootout. But he had taken away that bottom side. He would have missed anyway. He hit the outside of the post. So I think he's playing good. And I think let's keep in mind, too, that if you got Kyle Davidson over a couple beers, he would probably tell you that his projection for Soderblom when the team is ready to win is backup goalie. I don't think they see him as a true number one goalie. I think by the time this year ends, he will be the Hawks' number one goalie above Peter Mrazek because A, I think he's better than Mrazek at this point, and B, they've got a future invested in him. But I really think they think Comesso is the guy. And he's going to be playing the bulk of the games in Rockford this year, not splitting time, but sharing time with Jackson Stauber. And maybe Comesso even comes up next year, or maybe they find a stopgap goalie for a year or two next season. But I was very pleased with Soderblom's effort tonight. I wrote about him for our Hawks Hits, which we publish after every game. I don't think there was anything he did in this game that cost the Hawks a point.
No, we have to remember, he's 24 years old.
Young, that's young for a goalie.
Yeah, just his third season in North America. He's only got 18 games of NHL experience. He's essentially still a rookie goaltender, still learning the pro game here. I've seen a lot of Arvid Soderblom covering the Ice Hogs. His rookie season, I saw almost every one of his home starts. When he gets into a groove, he's a solid goalie. Is he an elite franchise goalie?
No.
I don't think he's ever going to be that. Can he be an average NHL starter? Sure. But I don't, as you mentioned, I don't think he's the long-term solution. I think he's a nice guy that could have some potential, a guy that can maybe grow into being a really good backup, or he's a stopgap guy, holding that place till Drew Comesso's ready to be in NHL. Yes, and maybe best case scenario, Comesso is that guy and becomes your franchise goalie in a year, 2, 3 years, however long it takes. You gotta remember, Corey Crawford was 27 by the time when he got his.
Was it 5 years in the American
5
League?
years in the AHL.
Yeah.
I don't think Comesso's going to need that much time.
No.
I think he'll be on a little faster trajectory than that. Best case scenario is he becomes your long-term backup for Comesso, or he looks good. So when you're ready for Comesso to be the guy, you have a nice little trade chip. Hey, you need that sixth defenseman, veteran guy. You need you can use him to then go get something you're missing. Because you got to remember, they drafted another goalie high in the draft this year. So obviously they're going to keep getting young goalies in here and trying to churn them out. That's something the previous regime pretty much ignored their entire time here. They pretty much thought that Corey Crawford was going to play forever and was going to be an elite goalie forever, and they never bothered to really develop any
do anything really beyond that.
This regime, as once again,
foresight,
is doing the exact opposite of the last regime, and they're getting young goalies in here, and there's nothing wrong with having more than one guy that could be a really good starter for you. Ask the Vegas Golden Knights how that worked out for them.
Well, I think it's... I was listening to the Got Your Back podcast today with Pierre LeBrun and Mike Johnson, and they got in a conversation about Vasilevsky and how he's going to miss some time for the Lightning and what should the Lightning do, yada, yada, yada. And they made a good point where the NHL, the way it is now, you don't need... of course, you'd love to have Connor Hellebuck or Andrei Vasilevsky or Igor Shesterkin or Juicy Saros or whatever, but it's not... You don't need those guys really anymore to win a cup. No. You don't. I mean, you don't. Aiden Hill won a Stanley Cup for the Golden Knights. Nothing against him, but he's not Dominik Hasek.
He was their third goalie. Fourth goalie.
Yes.
The San Jose Sharks said, we don't want Aiden Hill. The Sharks.
Yes, exactly. So it's more about the team in front of you than in goal. And of course, would you rather have a great goalie?
Yes.
Yes. But I think... I keep going back to comparing other sports, but like almost like the running back in football, teams are figuring out you can kind of like stopgap your goalie, because with cap being as the cap is like, think of it this way: the difference between a 920 save percentage and a 900 save percentage is 2 saves per 100. Is that worth
$10 million?
$8 million on your cap?
Yeah, if you can get a 1A, 1B type situation, 2 guys for $9 million, that's better than 1 guy for $10 million that ends up losing his job anyway.
Yeah,
because
look, as well as Sergei Bobrovsky played for the Panthers in the playoffs last year, they would move that contract today if they could.
Who started game 1 of the postseason for the Panthers?
Alex Lyon.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe your next Tampa Bay Lightning goalie, by the way.
If Spencer Knight was in full capacity, Sergei Bobrovsky probably doesn't have that fantastic run.
Right.
They're looking for every reason to get rid of him. Did Alex Lyon go to Tampa? I didn't see that.
Not yet, but they were talking about a potential waiver move.
I'm actually kind of surprised Tampa hasn't signed Jaroslav Halak yet.
Well, they were on the same podcast. They said Alan Walsh must have been on the phone with the Lightning, Julian Brisebois, the second they found out that Vasilevsky was hurt.
I mean, that's a dude that, he's 900 years old, but
go there and just make the save you're supposed to make.
That's all he's been doing for the last 15 years.
There's a huge value in that.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready to crown a winner?
Yeah, we are. Taylor Hall's running away with this one now. It was close for quite a while. He's got 40% of the vote.
All right.
I think you logged in all your burner accounts just because you were creating the graphic.
Well, I would have been really upset if I made this graphic and then had to switch it, because there was a lot of little, like, you see part of a hockey stick over his foot there. I did what I could.
You're doing some good work there.
That's way more than I could do. Looks great to me. So Taylor Hall is the chat's 4th star of the game.
Way to go, chat.
We should bring this helmet to him in the locker room and make him put it on, and he'll say, "Go F yourself.
Yeah.
Get away from me, security." And then that big dude who stands behind the bench will come and kill us.
Yeah, and no one will ever find us.
Super nice guy. By the way, I should mention, rest in peace, Dick Butkus.
Absolutely. Sports legend.
In my travels as a sports radio producer, I got to meet and deal with Dick Butkus several times, and every time I spoke with him, he was kind, he was warm, he was funny. He did not have... I think when you're a guy who... When you know you're a badass, and you know whatever room you walk into, you're the coolest guy, you don't have to be a dick to people.
Yeah, that's why I'm not a dick to people.
And he was exactly. And he was never a dick to anybody. Super nice guy. And boy, I was just talking to my wife about this like 2 weeks ago because I heard a radio ad. He was like, man, he sounds good. Like, he still sounds sharp, and like he was funny on Twitter, and like he was at the Bears game last week, and just like that, you never know. Yep. So rest in peace, Dick Butkus. I got a little choked up driving to work today thinking about him and Doug Buffone reunited. Made me feel good, and I was super close with Doug. So anyway, rest in peace, Dick Butkus, Chicago legend.
Absolutely. One of those larger than life mythical figures in Chicago sports history. I mean, I heard stories from my grandpa, my dad, about what just in a minute. You see the highlights where you're just like, that man would have killed a man on the field and nobody would have stopped him.
Somebody shared a tweet where it was like a screen cap of like a Twitter exchange. Dick Butkus tweets, "Sorry, I'm not going to be able to get to everybody's questions. I'll do my best." And the guy replies, "You killed my grandfather on the football field." And Dick said he probably had it coming.
That's, a genuine guy. You don't become that beloved for so long by being a bad person.
No, and just a badass. And Merrick says it like losing Walter Payton and now Dick is the hardest. Okay.
Phrasing.
Yes, phrasing Merrick. But I remember when I was in college, Walter Payton died.
That one hurt. Yeah.
The dudes were like, it was like two different worlds. The dudes were like, like Charlie Brown walking around with their heads down. And a lot of the girls on campus were like, what is wrong with everybody? They're like, sweetness died. There is no reason to live.
The sweetness is gone.
When I have this picture,
and Brian Robinson used the ghost of Walter Payton to block that extra point against the
ghost
Packers.
of Dick Butkus got 5 sacks for the Bears tonight.
Yes, I won't say what you said in the press box tonight. We'll leave that one.
All right, that's fine.
We'll let that one.
Give it a week and I'll say it out loud. But what was I gonna say? Shit, I forget. Oh, there's a picture of me as a kid. My 2 uncles opened a butcher shop in Mount Greenwood. And they had Steve McMichael and Jay Hilgenberg come for the opening. And I was like maybe 8 or 9. And all I did the entire time was ask them about Walter Payton. Like, do you guys know Walter? What's Walter like? You think Walter was going to come here today to the butcher shop and get some meat? They're like, I don't think so, kid. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, is he funny? Like, is he fun to be around? They're like, they were very kind about it. But that's all I cared about. And I know there's like, that was mine. Walter Payton to me is still the biggest star in the world. And I know to like guys my uncle's age and stuff that was the same for Dick Butkus. So that's what I found out. My uncle texted everybody in our fantasy league, like, Dick Butkus died. I'm like, shit, that sucks.
Dick Butkus was Michael Jordan for our dads and grandpas.
Yeah. Michael Evans says, Jay was in college when Walter passed. I was 9. Shut up, Michael. I got to see Walter play.
Yeah, I did too.
I have memories of that. I have memories of the Bears being good.
I watched Walter Payton win a Super Bowl.
That's right. Even though Ditka did not give him the ball, and I will never forgive him for that.
That was the biggest sin of Mike Ditka's career.
Well, maybe.
Football-wise.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap things up. Jake is staring at us. I'm a little bit scared. Before we do, want to remind you, you like streaming sports, you like streaming TV, FuboTV.com is the place to go. 140 plus live channels of sports, shows, movies, and news. Stream live TV from any device. Watch the most Chicago sports for the lowest price. Start watching immediately with the free trial at FuboTV.com/CHGO. There's no contract. There's no cable. There's no hassle. Just sign up and start watching. 1,000 hours of cloud DVR included at no extra charge. And watch your local teams while traveling. College football, Big Ten, Bears, NFL Network, Red Zone, and more. Watch it all with Fubo. Go to FuboTV.com/CHGO to sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. Again, FuboTV.com/CHGO. Okay, here's the deal. Tomorrow at 2:30, we are.
I've had that on for the whole time.
I wasn't ready for it. Okay, look up. Tomorrow at 2:30, we're on after practice. Maybe we'll have some roster news. Maybe not. We'll let you know. Saturday, we're doing a pregame show. So don't miss that. The first ever CHGO Blackhawks pregame show. We don't know what we're going to do, but it's going to be fun. And then we'll be on postgame. And then we leave for Pittsburgh after Monday's show. And we'll be on from Pittsburgh for Tuesday's opening game. The NHL season is here, gang. Thank the Lord. Only one more preseason game, and then we get to talk about games that matter. But I want to shout out everybody here. We had a Bears post game.
Yep.
And had, like 200 people in here at a time almost?
Yeah, we were up there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I mean, almost 100 likes. We can get to 100 before we go.
Thanks to
Another
Merrick
super
for
chat
super
from
chat.
Merrick. Appreciate that for his poor phrasing. That's a $1 fee.
And one thing that I love, we had Joey and Alan K, both from Texas.
Yeah.
We had, was it Crickets from Washington,
Washington
State?
By the way, chat more, Cricket.
Yes, we're here. We won't be mean to you. We got people from all over the place. I love that people that are Chicago sports fans can tune in from all over the world and get this type of coverage. Is great. I think that's the point.
I agree.
We
Do you
got
know what you're
Thailand
reminding
in
me
here
of right
too.
now? Remember when the guy took the helmet off the Winnipeg Jets player and put it on? That drunk guy? That's kind of the vibe you're giving me right now. And you got some Yager with the back hair coming out. Not the back hair,
I got the
but
lettuce.
the lettuce.
I got
exactly.
the lettuce.
You don't have Kevin Dean lettuce, though.
That was something. I don't know what's going on
He's got
there,
like the
man.
full Trump.
Yeah, I don't
thing
know.
going
Like
on.
there was like 9 colors going on.
Yeah, it was
like
something.
Looked like a marble. Like he had, I don't know what that was, but
There you go. Jad.
we got Utah. We got Utah. We had Thailand. Yeah, we're worldwide.
We love it.
Love it.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30 post practice on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Smash that like button for us.